lost again. Hey. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We've got Jay. Can everyone hear us? First of all, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, everyone. Oh, wait a minute. I got to lower my volume on here. Okay. Okay. Hi, Dinah. Lost again. How's our volume? How's our sound? Sounds good. Dinah lost. Thank you. Okay. All right. We'll wait for a few people to come on. It's a beautiful day here in New York. It's going to be pretty hot. They say it's going to be a hot summer. Whoops, I got to fix Panda Bear. He's laying down. All right, there he goes. Put him up here like this. Okay, there. Okay.
What if I turn this light on?
Yeah, I don't think we need that light. Maybe the door open? Yeah, it's a little bit dark. Hi, Wild Wall. Welcome. And
Better.
yes, yeah, that's better. Yeah, it's good. Okay.
Now we have a microphone.
Yep, microphone's working. Oh, these, I don't know, but our sound is good, they said. And today's theme is stop looking for truth and live it. We always heard in the organization, I found the truth. When did you come in the truth? How long have you been in the truth? Everything was the truth, the truth, the truth.
And basically we got almost nothing but lies, unfortunately.
Hi, Shaq. Yes.
But what about the truth? Or truth? Or truthfulness? That's real.
Carnivore life. That's someone new, isn't
Carnivore
it?
life. Who are
Oh,
they?
from Brazil.
Wow, hello.
Carnivore. No, it's not carnivore. It's carnivore.
Oh,
Yeah, carnivore life. Okay. Well, welcome from Brazil.
yes.
What time is it in Brazil? It's got to be different time zone.
Later
Darren.
later than us.
Brazil is south of us.
Oh, excuse me.
South of us. We're in New York State.
Over?
I don't know. Maybe it's an hour difference. I don't know. What time is it? Oh, 12:09. Okay, so you're an hour ahead of us.
Okay.
We're
Well,
11:09.
welcome.
Yes, welcome, Darren. And busy morning for us. How about you? I was making homemade mayonnaise and I broke it. There's something called breaking.
Don't break the mayonnaise.
What a pain. We use an immersion blender, eggs, oil, lemon juice, and seasonings and mustard.
Yeah. It's for technical information. Mayonnaise is an emulsion of oil and eggs and and with other liquid. And generally they don't mix. But if you have something that is what's the word?
Emulsion?
Emulsifier.
Emulsifier.
Is an egg yolk. Egg yolk is an emulsifier. In other words, that will incorporate a certain amount of oil. But you have to do it right.
And I usually do.
Oh, yeah.
But yesterday I added too much oil, so it breaks apart. It looks like scrambled eggs. So you don't want that. So then I just left it and I was disgusted. So today I went online and I said how to fix broken mayonnaise. So what you do is you take all the broken mayonnaise out. You start all over again with an egg. I use egg yolk, then a little bit of lemon juice, and little by little you incorporate the broken mayonnaise into the fresh egg. And it worked.
And there you have it. And so that's why we all got together now, just to learn about mayonnaise.
And that's why we were late.
And how to fix broken mayonnaise.
And Joe had some customers. So, life, that's our life.
Yeah.
we do clock repairs. So doorbell rings, we have to answer
And
the
that supports
doorbell.
what we do.
Yeah, so we're thankful. We're thankful. No one else in this area does clock repair. Joe's been doing it for 40 years. Yeah, and people will call and say, "Do you know how to fix cuckoo clocks?" And Joe says, "Well, I've only been doing it for 40 years." So, anyway, all right. Dinah said she just sat down for breakfast herself. Well,
Oh.
good. I didn't have mine yet. And my good wife's steak and eggs. And from Orange County, California, Justin Fiorencio. Am I saying that right? Fiorencio. Ricky Bobby. Hi, Ricky Bobby. Thank you for
Hello.
joining us. We're just waiting for a few more to come on. And see that? Am I saying it right?
Oh, Justin Fiorenzio.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Fiorenzo.
Okay, good.
Welcome all.
Yeah, on the West Coast, it's 8:15. Ricky Bobby, you're probably 2 hours. Tennessee. Is it 1 hour? 1
I think it's
hour.
one.
1 hour.
Yeah.
And of course, Dinah Lost is in our time zone. Yeah.
Netherlands, it's dinner time. Yeah.
Someone's from the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Neil?
Well, from the Netherlands. No.
Nell.
Welvaarts.
Welcome, Nell. Thank you for joining
Yes.
us. So again, the topic is about truth, and we started out saying in the organization, people say, "How long have you been in the truth?" Or "I learned the truth," or "I was raised in the truth," or blah blah blah, truth. So our topic today is looking for truth and live it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, animals look for all sorts of things. They look for food. They look for shelter. They look for safety when they have to get away from something else. But to my knowledge, they don't look for truth. They just look for what they need. Hopefully, they find it. Humans, on the other hand, have this idea that we need to look for not only those things that animals look for, but we also have to look for something else called truth. What's true? Because we function with our minds in symbols and thoughts and beliefs different than the animals. I don't think they operate the same way with beliefs as we do. So if humans are going to believe something, just like an animal would want to eat something that's really food, they wouldn't want to eat something that's poison, because in truth it wouldn't be good for them. It wants to be really, truly food. Well, the same thing with humans, with what we hold in our minds and hearts, our beliefs. Well, we want those to be true too, otherwise we're what's called deceived, tricked. And it doesn't feel good when we're deceived or tricked. We're vulnerable to injury and loss when we hold something and act on something that's not true. It hurts. It hurts one way or the other. So we have to operate with something called truth. And the organization that we were part of was named, or they called themselves, the Truth. So they gave that name to themselves. It was a marketing strategy, the Truth. So now if someone's looking for truth, it's like, hey, that's the truth. Well, that's it. Now we just have to connect ourselves with that organization, and now we've got truth, right? What could be
That's what they
simpler?
say.
What could be simpler? Of course, how does it turn out? Turns out that what they serve up is not really what's good for us. In other words, the things that they say were going to happen didn't happen. And this was over and over and over. So you can rightly say, That's not the truth. Those weren't true. They were lies. They were deceptions, falsehoods, inaccurate. But yet, they presented it and continue to present it as the truth. So now many of us know and realize and understand it's not the truth. They just call it the truth because they're looking for people to accept it as truth. It's called an offer and a rejection, an offer and acceptance. And that's our experience at this point. What that organization offers, they call it the truth, but it ends up coming off as lies, distortions, untruths, and it hurts people. And people lose from it. It doesn't just hurt. Mm-hmm. You lose from it. So we have to be careful with lies. They hurt. If we accept them and if we live according to lies. Yeah. So is there any truth to deal with?
So Cisco Kid Fab says the truth is not found in men.
Well, how if you're looking for it and someone says, oh, I've got it, I would ask them what they really mean. But what I would say is, well, do you want me to tell the truth? Or do you want me to tell you a lie? Oh, no. Someone would say, no, I want you to be truthful. Okay, then I have to speak the truth. I have to even live the truth, my truth. The truth, it's got to be what's truthful for me. And hopefully the truthful for me resonates with the truthfulness of others. Now, in some cases, it's not. In some cases, you can get away with someone else's truth that they hold dear to be works for them. Doesn't work for me, but mine works for me. Mine doesn't work for them. Oh. And so the question becomes, well, Joe, do you at least live by your truth? Or you say one thing and you really do another? Oh, well, you're not being truthful. You said this, but now you do that. You lied. I lied. Because I didn't live up to my truthfulness. I didn't. Because I expressed something, and yet I didn't live up to it. Well, so that's something I can control. It's something all of us can control individually. I'm not here to control your truth. You're not here to control my truth. But we do recognize and we are affected by it. We are affected by each other's living their truth. And then maybe at some point, we all can function together with some universal truth that we all look at and say, oh, yeah, that's what I believe that too. Oh, you believe that? Yeah, you believe it too. We hold these things to be true. And if as a people we live up to that, then you could say that we're a truthful people. They're full of truth. Well, again, the problem runs in when someone is distorting that and they actually lie. They say one thing, they do another. Or what they say isn't even real. Like here, this is good food, when really, maybe it's ground up sawdust. Well, for us, ground up sawdust isn't what you would call nutritious. In most cases, it really isn't. You may not die from it, maybe not. You won't, but you certainly won't survive well and thrive. So it's nothing you'd want to look for. And it's nothing you would even want to get tricked into accepting. But yeah, that's what happens. I'm through talking.
We have a video.
That does such probably much more clearly. So see what you think, and let us know what you think. And because it's been so nice to be a discussion.
Yeah, this is the Inspired channel, if anyone has watched him. And the title is It's Time to Say Goodbye. So let's see what he has to say. About a 30-minute video.
Listen, away from experiencing something amazing, something that has changed thousands of lives all over the world. I'm talking about a high consciousness field similar to those at pilgrimage sites and sacred places. It's where people go to heal, to connect, and to become the best possible version of themselves. With FLFE, you can bring such a high consciousness field into your home right now. It's a spiritual quantum technology based on the work of Nikola Tesla. Better sleep, more energy, greater well being, improved finances, electrosmog mitigation. These are only some of the things people on the FLFE service are experiencing. Try it now for 15 days completely free of charge, no credit card needed. Just click on a link down below to start your free, no strings attached FLFE trial right now.
Searching for the best Canadian cannabis, weed, reefer, Mary Jane? Look no further, because we're about to light up your world. It's time.
You begin to realize that every little piece all around you, the whole plan, it all works together. It all has a purpose. Every rock has a purpose. Every herb serves a purpose. Every little atom, every little cell, every little seed serves a purpose. So by God, how could you ever believe that you don't serve a purpose? It's mind-boggling to me that people could diminish themselves to a level where they don't see that they're part of a wonderful, great plan. And that at the same time that we're the protagonists in that plan, we're also the extras in the much larger play. It's a beautiful realization that we all are participating in a grand plan, but at the same time, we're the protagonists of our own lives. And what could be more important than realizing what that is? In every day, there's a little bit of purpose, but what if every day was infused with your purpose?
Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. It's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. My friends, what we're here for, you and us, right now, this is the end. And it truly is time to say goodbye. And I will explain what I mean by that. But there's a lot of new people that have recently joined us, people that have rejoined us, people that have come back to this channel and this journey. I want to welcome them. And I want to, in very short words, tell you what my purpose is, what I feel my mission statement is, as I talked in this little clip here before. It is to explore and speak the truth and guide people to the infinite potential that it holds. It is to explore and speak the truth and guide people to the infinite potential that it holds. This has been my mission and our mission here for a long time. And when you do live on that purpose, when you feel it every single day, then at some point you realize something. You realize what we're really in here. Christine and I just spent 4 days tucked away in the woods with a group of people, and we come from all walks of life. We come from different parts of the world, and our expression in the world is different, but our intention is absolutely united. That's what amazes me every single time. Strangers come together. They have different lives, different experiences, but we're all on mission. So what is this mission? What is the end? And what are we saying goodbye to? First of all, I want to make it clear that this is not the end of Inspired. Uh, we're waking up every day, every single day, inspired to connect, inspired to share, inspired to serve. For as long as we're inspired to do that, we will show up with you and for you. When the mission is completed, and we will all know when that time comes, then we will change, because that's how life works. years and years and years ago, when I started exploring, really consciously exploring what this world is made of, how the structures work, the power structures work, who the wannabe elites are, all that, you know what I'm talking about. Who runs the show and why? I thought we have to change the system. We have to take it over, heal it. We have to put good people into it. Not too long ago, I still thought that was part of what we're doing. And it's very freeing to see that so many people are realizing and coming to the same conclusion. When you heal and are on your healing journey and you become whole again and you connect with spirit and you really, really focus on that to become the best possible version of yourself, at some point you realize this entire system does not serve humanity in its origins. It is an anti-human system. So if it doesn't serve us, it serves something or someone else or some other species. And that is becoming so clear. Every invention, every new invention solves a problem that an older invention created. And on and on and on the chain goes. But as we reconnect with our natural spirit, as we reconnect with truth, we realize that this is the opposite of that. So what we're saying goodbye to and what this is the end of, truly the end of, and I don't think we comprehend how big that is. It's the end of this entire structure. Because whenever one human being joins the journey in a significant way, and I'll explain what that means, the power is taken away from this anti-human system. And when enough power is taken away and invested in something else, this crumbles. And it's crumbling, but people think it's just small changes here and there. No, this is so monumental. This is the end of an era, the end of an entire civilization as we know it. And it is inevitable. We look back and we find remnants and we find evidence and we find stories and we find structures of old civilizations, but they're gone. This is literally what we're going through. What we today see as our civilization, our reality, the way things are done, the way things are structured, it is over. We're in the dying stages of it, and that is a good thing. We have lived through an anti-human era where an entire system in all of its complexity and artificiality and its deception was created to extract from humans as much as possible to serve something or someone else as much as possible. And there are two competing paths at this time. Going full on into the artificiality, which means releasing everything that is even remotely natural, biological, or like we have been saying, the birth of an entire new era, not just a new system, a new era. We're rebirthing a new world. We're rebirthing a new way. We're rebirthing ourselves again. Our old selves are dying. The selves that were invested in a system that was destroying us. Those selves, those false selves are dying. And the real I, the real I am, the real us is being reborn. It is like the ultimate baptism by spirit. And we're being reborn and we're birthing something incredible. How are we birthing it? This is the most beautiful thing of all. People think it's that the rebirthing is building blocks and that we're We're restructuring the system, and all of this, maybe down the road, maybe some of this will happen, but here's how we're rebirthing it: by becoming the best possible and the truest and the realest possible version of ourselves, which means we follow truth, relentlessly follow truth. And that means the truth about who we really are, the truth about our pains, the truth about our healing, the truth about our true capabilities, the truth about our true nature, the truth about who we really are, where we really come from, how potent and wonderful and infinite the human spirit is. That's what we're creating. And every human that joins the journey, every single person that joins this journey is tipping the scale. People are talking about wars and civil wars, and apparently some of that is part of this journey. We that just seems to be how it's playing out, but that's not where our focus should be. Becoming the best possible version of ourselves. Excellence. No more mediocrity. We've lived in mediocre ways. We've allowed ourselves to become mediocre, to forget who we are, to destroy who we are, to learn falsehood and reject truth. That's what we've been programmed to do. Let's let ourselves off the hook. No blame, no guilt, no shame. This is what it was done in a very, very, very complex and in a very sophisticated way. But we are awakening to that, my friends. And there are people out there, and every every being that awakens to who they truly are and that is living the truth, that is like canceling out millions who are living in the deception. That's how powerful a fully self-actualized human being is. And then they're reaching millions and billions of people, and they don't even know how they're doing it. Doesn't matter. What matters is that it happens. Because of this mass awakening, and it is happening. I don't care what I don't care what we're observing on the screens. I don't care what we're seeing in the cities. Forget that. Forget that. Every day in every way, more and more people are joining this journey. We're already millions. What does that mean? The 100th monkey effect has been reached. What does that mean? The awakening journey is so much quicker. It's exponential. It's asymmetrical. What took us years and decades takes them weeks and months. Why? Because the field has changed, because we have changed. The field responds to us, responds to our consciousness. We raised consciousness together more and more and more every day. The field projects that back on the on everybody. And those who are ready, they're absorbing so much so fast, and it is sinking in, and they are awakening at rates and at a pace never before seen. That's the exponentiality. If we had to go by the pace that we had 15 years ago, we would never make it. But we don't have to. That's what consistent work, consistent showing up has done. There's an excellence in what we do together. Not one of us, not a few, but what we do together. Because the average is what matters most. The average, how many people can we invite in that ask of themselves to be excellent again? What does excellence mean? It means when competence, accountability, and vision are added together, that is excellence. When we become really, really good at that which we're called to do and commit to become better every day, when we show up, when we have the discipline to show up even on the hard days and continually become better and do what we said we're going to do and what we agreed to do, and when we have a vision to create something that is bigger than us, bigger than ourselves, and commit to that, that is excellence, my friends. And that is what I'm seeing in more and more people. And I'm choosing to look for it too, more than I ever have. I'm choosing to look for that excellence. And the more I look for it, the more I find it. More and more people are doing it. I think in the next 12 months, we're going to see some miraculous things. We're also going to see some horrific things, because as humans, we're just not, we weren't really built to witness some of the pain and some of the suffering that we're seeing in the world today. It's like when you go to war, people weren't really built to go to war, the horrors of war. So we have to be very, very strong through this. But there's also the miracles that we're witnessing. There's also the changes that are happening so quickly. Thank you so much for your contribution. This is, listen, maybe in 100 years, I don't know the exact time span, but not, it's not very far away. We're going to turn back and look at a past that is concluded and a future that has begun. This system cannot remain in place any longer, and it's not working anymore. There's little signs everywhere. If you look at the signs, then you see it. You can also see in the eyes of most people that they know it. On one level, they know it. They know that it is over and that it is only being kept alive on life support because some people still think it's real, but it's not real anymore. I give gratitude for this false system has taught me so much, and it has forced me to look deep within and continues to do so. We were at a gathering a few days ago of probably 40, 50 people. And for the first time, I could see that we all shared this understanding and coherence, 40, 50 people. And even though we're completely different in many ways, we have a laser sharp focus on this shift that is ahead of us and that we're already in. It is so exciting. I got goosebumps. My whole body is vibrating as I'm speaking about this. My blood is rushing through my veins. Everything is alive. Everything is, and this is what is happening. People are coming back to life from a state of dying while they were still alive. Most people through the last generations, they were dying while they were still alive. Now people are living more and more and more. They're gaining life force with every day. Every day that is now happening. And when you commit to this, you have to say goodbye to the old. You have to acknowledge that it's the end. You can't do both. And as we're navigating this, we're still driving down the road. I get it. We're still getting gas. We're still paying our bills. But with every little thing that you do in the old dying system, release. Say thank you for everything it's taught you and release. Allow the release of it, and especially the release of the belief that it's real because it's not. So, if my assumption and the assumption of others is true, that this system, this entire realm, the way it's structured right now, was created to serve, as it seems, a hostile race or hostile entities, by creating that which serves humanity and life 100%, we are eliminating that threat from our existence. Because apparently by doing that, we're taking away their oxygen. We're taking away their fuel. And we're focusing on life, on the expansion of life, on the creation of life, on the creativity of life, on the raising of life, on the raising of consciousness. So with every breath that we take from here on forward, with every step that we take, with every inspired action, we are affirming life and that which serves us, the human family and the natural realm. This is where our focus needs to be laser sharp every single day. It automatically supports that which we are in essence and takes all the support of that which we are not. It's literally choosing life over the illusion of death. It's choosing expansion over diminishment. We're choosing us. We're choosing the human family. We're choosing the human spirit. And if you look into the eyes of a being that you can feel represents the opposite, expand your power even more, not through force, not through violence, through love. Outshine the darkness. It's as simple as that. And the darkness will retrieve. We have to raise that in us that is already good. We have to make the good better, and we have to make our worst better. We have to appreciate the duality in us. Our worst has to become much better than it's been. Our best has to become much better than it's been. This is what we're doing. This is excellence. Why not commit to that? How good can it get, friends? How how amazing can we together become? And why would we need force or competition or violence if we all commit to excellence together, if we support each other, if we uplift each other, if we inspire each other? There's clowns right now, complete clowns sitting somewhere in Switzerland, in Geneva, negotiating about something that they think they can push on the human family that is anti-human once again. Now, we could go there and protest and do all of that, but we're just going to expand life force in such a strong way that it sucks away the oxygen, that it sucks away their fuel, their oxygen. It is when you inhabit a space with your entire being, with love, with harmony, you spread that everywhere, that nothing that is different from that can exist in that space. This is what we're doing. We're taking back what is rightfully ours, what has always been ours. And it has to happen within. The world that you will find within is much bigger than the world that you'll find out there. Even though you can travel by plane thousands of miles, so everything you can do, the world that you find within is much bigger. And that is what we're expanding now. It's absolutely beautiful. What we've witnessed over the last few days in coherence, 12, 13 people. Again, different ages, different backgrounds, even different languages, different expressions of purpose, but unity and coherence in intention. Everyone wants to serve. Everyone wants to be the highest expression of themselves and inspire everyone they get in touch with to do the same. What could be more powerful? Once you unlock that inside of you and you give yourself permission to live that, your former life ceases to exist. Your fears fall away. Your worries fall away. They must, because they were an illusion. They were something that these entities made us believe is real, but it's not. How could we ever worry? We're infinite, and our potential is infinite. That's what the Creator's spark gave us and gives us every day. I know that in my lifetime, and as I will come to the end of my lifetime, when I will tell the story of this time, the 2020s maybe, there will be almost no evidence in the world any longer of this time. I can see that now. I can see it clearly. Can you see it too? Because that's what matters. Can you feel that? Can you feel that this is dying, and what will be birthed from the ashes will be magnificent? I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not saying overnight, but it is accelerating. The clown show out there is so huge, it's so ludicrous. You can't take it seriously. It is when insanity becomes so accelerated, it loses its touch on everything. That's what we're seeing. It's so insane. And the only thing that hurts is if you think it's real. It's not. It's dying. It's the end. And it's time to say goodbye. You know, we're going to take a few more laps through this realm. And with every lap that we take, we can say goodbye. We can give gratitude for what we've learned. And we can realize that this is over. What our ancestors for the longest time believed 100% to be real is now over. The forms, the crippling obligations, the burdens, the servitude to a deaf system, it is over. It is over. For the last years, I've been watching all those ugly cubicle buildings, those cubes, those huge monuments of death. They're empty. Life has been withdrawn from them. Most of these buildings are empty. They're not inhabited by any kind of power anymore. Why? Well, because they say we do remote work. No. You have to look at the symbolism of it. Because those who have given it life force have removed themselves. It doesn't matter through what mechanism, they're gone. The life force has already been sucked out of the system. And so it's crumbling. Sure, they'll try. They'll try whatever they can. They'll try to convince you that this is just a bump in the road and they're going to fix it. And then they'll say they're going to remove corruption. The system is not corrupt. This is exactly how it was designed to be. It's doing what it was designed to do. It's not broken. It works if you understand who created it and for what purpose. And what we're realizing is that all the energy that we focus on trying to repair it, we can invest in becoming the best possible version of ourselves right now. And from that, something amazing is being birthed. I can only tell you what I see. And when you are with people over and over and over again who are literally taking the words out of your mouth or are expressing something that is so deep in you, and that happens, that synchronicity becomes the new normal. You don't think of it as coincidence anymore. When coherence and synchronicity are so everywhere, then we have literally reached new levels that we've never lived before. When our hearts are connected over long distances and despite life circumstances and difficulties and challenges, but our hearts remain connected, and I say what you feel and you say what I feel, we've reached a wonderful new level. And let's just keep going, because the better it gets, my friends. And yes, we will still have to deprogram from certain things. They will come up. That's the journey of healing. But it goes like this now. It takes days. Like the series that we've started, The End of Religion as We Know It. Well, guess what? One of the people in the group that we just spent time with was a pastor. Guess what he's working on? The End of Religion as We Know It. It's everywhere. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And I couldn't be more inspired to live my mission, my purpose every day. And I couldn't be more inspired to watch you live yours. I can feel it. even through the screen, even through the technology. I can feel you all over the place. I feel your spirit. And in case you forgot for a moment, you are meaningful and significant and important. Each and every one of you matters in this. We're doing this together. We're doing this together. We love you, really love you. When we say that, I've never said that in my life and not meant it. We truly love you. Christine and I are so appreciative of you. All right, my friends, thank you for tuning in. And thank you for sharing this vibration with me, this frequency, this level of awareness with me. It's beautiful. Much love, and we'll be back with you again very, very soon.
We are. Oh,
There we
I
are.
think we're back.
Okay. Can everyone hear us? Okay.
Just
Just let us know if we lose sound.
yeah. I heard some interesting things. You said the end of something. Of course, the end of something, but then the beginning of other things. That's we're very thankful for the beginnings of good things, and we really look forward to the end of things that he was talking about. Thing I just wanted to pick up on and see if anyone else has anything on it is what it means for us as humans for something that animals don't consider, something called excellence. In other words, we talked about truth, but how about, okay, excellence? And excellence was made up of three things. And it was competence, accountability, and CAV, vision. Vision. Competence, accountability, and vision. It's not something that you think of for animals. You don't. You know, you really don't hold your animal accountable for things. Um, Not for vision, not for competence, accountability. No, no. Those are human. Those are human potentials. The question becomes, how did we miss it? How could we have missed it in that organization, in the Watchtower organization that we were in? Did we miss competence? Well, no, see, they wanted us to be competent with being public speakers, communicators, promoters for their organization. Okay, fair enough. Well, is that yours? Was that your interest? Or is it their interest that we fit into? We fit into it. I took it on. I fit into it. I said, well, I'm really not interested in this, but I guess okay, I will take it on. And become competent for them, for their purpose. Their purpose. See, not our purpose. And then accountability. Well, what are you being accountable then to, Joe? Well, you're accountable to the organization. Oh, look, you have to turn in your time. Why? Why do I have to account my time to you for? See, that's what slaves have to do. Slaves are accountable to a master. So we said, yeah, sure, we'll put ourselves in slavery to you as the master. Yeah, yeah. Did that. And then vision. Now think about that. So the society never asked me, Joe, what do you think of the future of this organization? Well, how about what do you think we should develop, or what do you think? How do you think it's going? What do you see? What do you see? Nah, they never asked us that. They told us what they see, and we were to take it on. So in every way, they sought to groom us away from being excellent as the human being that we are. We are human beings. Of course, now the reality is slaves do not have to do that. Slaves simply have to hear and obey their master and serve their interests acceptably. So that's what slaves do, human or otherwise. So the question becomes, how is it that being a slave fills our purpose, our personal, our purpose? Does it fulfill our human purpose? Anyone have any ideas for that?
If anyone wants to come
Yeah.
on, just go in the chat and tap on Fixing My Faith, and they'll let you in.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about the video we just watched,
Yeah.
or anything to do with this, about the truth?
The truth. In other
Stop
words-
looking for truth, live it. That's the
Yeah.
that's our theme.
In other words, it brought out the beginning of the video. Everything around us serves its purpose. We look at rocks, we look at trees, we look at the earth, the soil, things that we have no control over, really. It is serving its purpose. So now the question becomes, how about me? Am I serving my purpose? Oh, well, what do you mean? Well, you're a human being. What's your purpose? Oh, rocks could ask me that question. So a rock asks me, so Joe, what's your purpose, human being? Oh. And I suppose different human beings might answer it different ways. So I guess I'll ask you, in light of everything that we've gone through, the ones that have been part of that organization, Watchtower, how do you feel it's fulfilled or avoided your purpose as a human? And what are you doing now as a result of that? Where are you at? What's your story now? What's your story with that? I know our story is what we're seeking to do now, and that is to share our insight and experience with others who are trying to search for their purpose, as opposed to fulfilling Watchtower's purpose. Where are you? Are you one who wants to continue to fulfill Watchtower's purpose for you? Do you feel comfortable that way? Do you feel fulfilled? Or on the other hand, do you realize, no, that doesn't fulfill me? I'm searching for my purpose. Do you think it's possible?
We had something interesting happen
Yeah.
Saturday. Someone contacted us. She's a Jehovah's Witness, and she contacted us.
We've known her how long?
We've known her over 25 years.
And the family.
And her
So,
family.
you know, we've
large
known
family.
They were friends. Good.
Lost
friends.
contact with her. Apparently, she had been disfellowshipped for 2 years, but came back. Her husband's a witness. Her son is. Interesting, her daughter was disfellowshipped and never came back. But so this woman was reinstated after 2 years because of her family. But she said during that 2 years, she said something very interesting. She said she really enjoyed how nobody bothered her and it was so peaceful. So she's saying all these things that tells us that she's really Pimo.
In fact, interestingly, we asked her, do you know what PIMO is? And she says, no. Well, we explained to her what PIMO was.
Her reason for contacting us, she said, is she had a cuckoo clock and she needed it fixed. So we said, sure, bring it over. And we had no idea if she knew our position, that we were disassociated. So she came over. Joe was working on her clock and we were talking. And she said, well, the other reason I wanted to get in touch with you is to encourage you. You know, she says, I know what it's like to be out. I know they went through an awful lot with the elders. It was very discouraging. They changed congregations twice. So she says, I know what it's like. She says, but she says, you and Joe were always an encouragement in the congregation. And I'm just encouraging you to think about coming back. But she wasn't pushy with it. You know, you could tell that she said it, but I think she understood where we were coming from.
You're right. And I think she was going through an awareness at that point, but she just wasn't keeping up with herself.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't keeping up with the things that she was very quickly being exposed to.
So we didn't give her too much information about ourselves. We just said, well, we found out about the child sexual abuse cover up, and she was aware of it. In her family, she didn't grow up as a witness, but there was child abuse in her family. But it was a very, very, very nice conversation. She stayed for 3 hours. The time went by so fast. And we told her how our 4 adult children are shunning us, and she could not understand how they could do that to their parents, because she was not shunning her daughter, and she just can't understand that, even though she's back in as a witness. And Joe said, well, why did you go back?
What do you like?
What do you like
being a witness?
About being a witness? And what did she say?
She says she likes to encourage people.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, it's very nice. It's very good. You know?
We told her how we're encouraging folks. We showed her our map, our trips. We told her how we encourage disfellowshipped ones, so she knows that we're. At one point, I said, you know, rumor has it that we're apostates. And she said, oh no. She said, you could never be an apostate. And Joe said, well, what's your definition
I was
of an
about
apostate?
to tell her, oh, we really are.
But instead he said, well, what's your definition of an apostate? And she says, oh, well, they're mean, and, you know, they're really bad, and they talk against the, you know, congregation. Really, oh, you could never be apostate.
And I also didn't show her our postcard.
No.
That said, beware of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, we kind of held back on that one. And she mentioned some other names in the congregation that wondered the same thing. Oh no, what happened to the Guarinos? No, they can't be, you know, living an immoral life or taking drugs or, you know, smoking or any of those things. They knew us very well. So we told her why. Well, you know, was over the child sexual abuse, that we could not support any organization that was covering up child sexual abuse cases. But we left on really good terms. Matter of fact, interesting, she wants to come Thursday to our meetup. And I said, bring your daughter and your grandchildren. She said, I'll ask them. So we will have a few exes here. We'll also have our family. Our family likes to come and support us. They were never Jehovah's Witnesses. My brother, Joe's sister, her husband. So we'll see how it all turns out. But we left on a very positive note, and she was getting in her car, and I said, I love you. I really meant it, you know, because I told her, you know, it was really kind of you to come and talk to us. You're the only ones that have come and talked to us. And she said, well, she says, I just really always loved you guys, and I just wanted to be an encouragement. So we'll see how it turns out. Well, anyway, I said, I love you. And then she shouts back, I love you too. So anyway, that was just a little experience that we wanted to share. And interesting, on tomorrow's program, we have a short little video about 15 minutes long, and it's 14 reasons, 14 things the misguided religious establishments doesn't want you to know.
Right.
14 things the misguided religious establishments doesn't want you to know. So that was by an ex-minister who left his ministry.
Yeah. And I don't know if anyone knows, but John brought out the fact, he referenced the end of religion. Now, when you hear that, what do you think of? You know, we think of religion as something that, well, my goodness, it's how can you have life without religion? Religion is everything, isn't it, for people? Don't people have religion? And how can you have no religion? Can humans live without religion? Is that possible? What are anyone's thoughts on that? How do you feel? No doubt you've been thinking about things like that. What are your thoughts on that matter? Do you look forward to it? Do you think it will ever happen? What will take its place? Or what will people do without religion? What do your friends do who don't have a religion? Are they human? You know, are they even? Do you think it's possible for a person even to be human without religion? Do you think they're more animalistic? Do you think they're? What do you think? Because otherwise, see, religion has been such a solid institution. How can we live without it? Is it possible? And so when he mentions that, what do you see? Again, this is vision. This is what humans are good for. What's your vision on that? I'd like to hear. I would like to hear your vision on what the thought of religion just drifting away, which it seems to be. What will life be without religion? What is life? For example, what if you no longer go to the religious meetings of Jehovah's Witnesses? What happened with your life? Did you just fritter away to nothing? Did you just sit in the middle of a floor and wonder, what do I do now? I have nothing to do. Or did you say, oh, man, I got things to do? How did it work out for you?
Hello, Wild.
Hello,
Will.
Wild.
Welcome.
Howdy, howdy. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, fine.
Howdy. Great.
Thanks for coming on.
Oh, great show so far. I have to
Thank
say, I really resonated with a lot of what that guy was saying in his video. And the thing is, all through history, there's been people like this, but I believe we're really getting more and more in tune with what he's referring to, the frequencies, the vibrations. And going back to music, how we're always talking about songs and stuff. Think back on the Beach Boys. What was one of their biggest songs? Good
Good vibration.
Vibration. Good Vibrations. Think of the lyrics on that song and what it's actually referring to. Look at the Buddhists. Look at enlightenment. If you type in under Google search the 7 steps of enlightenment, look how close that really lines up with what this guy was saying.
Yeah.
And all through history, there's been these people that's been trying to let people know your inner self, be the best you can be, and that will resonate with others and it will help other people along their journey. And as he brought out, we may be in different parts of our journey, but we're really united in our frequencies of what we're trying to accomplish and trying to free ourselves as well as other people. Because what we do and what you're doing, Joe and Fran, is helping many people to realize that they were entrapped, they were ensnared, and
Yes.
whether it be religion. And I do agree with also with what this guy said. He's hinting around about the World Economic Forum, the WEF.
Oh yeah.
I picked up immediately on that, and people better pay attention. Really,
Yeah.
what's going on there?
Yeah.
It is changing, and
Oh yeah.
it's affecting us in our everyday life.
Right.
But the more we resist stuff like that, the better we're going to be able to handle. And that's why try to tell people about off grid. Be as individual,
Yeah.
don't be dependent on the grid because it could go down at any time. And
That's so true.
as you brought out, Joe, if the internet goes down,
Boom.
we won't be able to get in touch with each other. Make
Uh,
you a group of people that shares your vision close to you, as close as you
Yeah.
can. And
Yeah. And I mean with that in mind too, and even just establish our own connections with ones like each other now. In other words, just because there's no internet doesn't mean, for example, we can't get to see each other. Right?
exactly.
It's like, well, I guess I might have to go out of my way. I guess I might have to get off my butt and do something, and not be lazy. Uh, and this is something that the um, they made people lazy. They fed religion has fed people what to believe, fed people what to do, and uh, got us to avoid, developing our own vision, our own accountability, our own excellence. And now I'm watching it happening now. We're watching. See, we're seeking John, who is, doing the things that an excellent human is doing, and um, you, and we're trying. And here's another song. While speaking of songs, God Bless the Child. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. We've got some age, so it came out when we were younger.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we were listening. Joe remembered this song, and God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Your own what?
Right.
Your own truth. So rather than looking for truth out there, it's within us.
Yeah.
It's around us. We have to live the truth, like Joe was saying. While the weak ones fade, empty pockets don't ever make the grade, as Mama may have and Papa may have. God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. And when you got money, you got lots of friends crowding around your door. When the money's gone and all your spending ends.
Won't be around any. They won't be around anymore.
No.
In other words, we as humans need to provide who we are, and not look for who we are from someone who's more than willing to tell us who we are. See, the society, the Watchtower Society, was more than willing to tell us who we should be. Oh, nothing could be better than for us to be who they told us who we should be. And frankly, they were just looking for slaves, flat out. It was a sell job. They sold us on being their slave. And did we bite? I guess we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Wow. They made an offer that we chose to accept for being a slave.
Mm-hmm.
But we've come to realize that we're not accountable in that way. See, we're accountable to them, but we're not accountable to ourselves because, man, that's really not what I wanted to be. I just accepted it because of what they could give us or what I thought we could get. But it's nothing I could control. It's like, wow, that's kind of shaky, And besides that, all their promises did not come through. They were liars. They were liars. So at that point, I realized, oh boy, I think we've got some makeup to do. I think we've got some competence to develop, some accountability to develop and show, and vision to exercise because we're able to. And the sooner we do that, well, the sooner we can live our purpose and feel good about it.
The other thing I picked up when John said that he and his wife went to a big meetup, there were 40 or 50 people, and they resonated. And I know Wild Wall, you went to that meetup, and you didn't know those people beforehand, right?
Right.
But yet there was an energy, you resonated because, well, we all came out of Jehovah's Witnesses, so we have that religious trauma bonding, and so we have that in common. And people from all walks of life, right away, you connect, and that's what people are doing today. I mean, at meetups, uh, here, these live streams. Uh, so we're fortunate that we have that.
But
Yeah.
as you mentioned, go ahead, Wild. Yeah.
I was going to say, I kind of liken it to we were all trapped in like a burning building. What are we going to do as we try to get out of that building? We're going to help anybody else along the way to get out fast as they can because we know their life's at stake. Once we get outside that burning building, what happens then? We start hugging each other and saying, "Oh, I'm so glad you made it. Did everybody make it out?" And we're looking around, we're making a head count. You feel that energy, you feel alive because you were so close to death and your physical body, I'll put it that way. But that's what happens, even like at these meetups. That's why I encourage anyone that's never been to a meetup, go. I almost can bet you if you go to one, it won't be your last one. You'll be going to another because you can feel that energy of like we did escape something. We've got that in common, and that's why it feels so good. Even though you might not know these people personally, you do share a bond with them immediately right off the bat. So you've got something to connect. As the guy in the video John was saying that you connect with them, and it's not just the frequency, but even when we talk about these songs from days gone past, that's another way it gives your energy a boost. That's why you can go in certain stores. You go into a store and they're playing a song on the radio, and
Mm-hmm.
immediately you might feel bad. You go in that store and you start feeling good. Why? Because that song brought back a memory or of a way you felt at a certain time when you
Powerful.
heard that song. Maybe you were just dating somebody or something, or you got married and that song was played at your wedding. Something about that song brings back such good memories, and that's sort of like along the frequencies and the vibrations. It gives you a good sense in your inner being, and it's just one of the ways that we all connect. Music is one of them, but there's many other ways dealing with
You
frequencies
know,
and
Wild,
vibrations.
and when that happens to us, that's from outside of us. In other words, the music comes to us, the words trigger the memories and get us to feel. Well, in like manner, we can do that with ourselves. I don't know if you know about Jordan Peterson. He's a Canadian psychotherapist guy.
Oh yeah, I like Jordan Peterson.
Well, one of the things he says that always resonated with me is we need to say the things that make us feel strong. In other words, don't wait for the music. In other words, develop those things. Say those things yourself that give you the strength and the encouragement that you need. Don't say the things that discourage you. Avoid those things. Yeah, and that sounds kind of simple, but it's not, because some people can get into the bad habit of just dredging on the negative.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that's not good.
Ricky Bobby said, see what you think of this.
Yeah.
Does anyone here feel like people mistake your kindness for weakness? It happens to me all the time. It actually is driving me nuts at times.
Hmm. Um, I'm Bobby. I think I know what you're talking about, Ricky Bobby. Um, I think that would happen more often with me if I wasn't so guarded, if I wasn't watching, if I wasn't sensing and testing and being careful.
Hmm.
In other words, keep the fences up. You need your boundaries up. You don't want a wall that nothing can get through, but yet you don't want boundaries that people step over unless you want them to. And see, that's where it's about our boundaries. It's It's what we do.
Well, like tell them about the customer that came in yesterday and you sensed he was an ex-principal,
Oh yeah.
someone with authority.
Oh yeah.
And so Joe, you were
I have a
you
problem.
were civil.
I have a
with,
problem with authority figures. Um, uh, from everybody has some experience with authority figures from your youth. Um, some authority figures in my youth were upright, commendable people, but so many that were just disgusting. They were just on an ego trip. They didn't care about you. They just used you because they had the authority, and you were nothing to them except someone who was to be used.
Mhm.
And so at that point, it's like I had little respect for authority, and then especially in the congregation, I think the elder positions are horrible. They're a horrible abuse of authority. It's and I had absolutely no respect for the elders. I really don't. And if there are any elders out there listening, I have deep respect for those that left. I really do. But for the ones that are in, I have no respect for a man who's occupying an elder position in that organization. Because if you're really doing the job right in that organization, you're being an enforcer. You're really not being a shepherd. You're being an enforcer, and you're going to deal roughly with the sheep. A shepherds are loving to the sheep. Well, see, that doesn't make it in that organization. And I dare say that the elders watch each other. They watch each other to make sure they're doing their enforcing job. They're watching each other. They want to make sure that they're doing what the society says. And if you're the sort of elder that says, well, I want to take care of the sheep, I don't want to be, you're not going to get along with it. In fact, you're going to end up leaving. And I'm thankful for it, and I'm glad. And we absolutely welcome you. Absolutely welcome you for shedding that elder role. Um, uh, we need to be on guard, not like, see, the society wanted you, me, my children, to just put ourselves in their hands and you do anything you want to us because we trust you so much. Well, no, no, no. They're not trustworthy. They've proven themselves to be absolutely untrustworthy. So, should you continue trusting them? No. Well, neither should we be that kind of trusting with people outside. Same thing.
Mhm.
Same thing. It's kind of a give and take. You show yourself a little, see what they show.
Mhm.
And you kind of test along the way, and you watch very closely, and it's something they have to practice. Our kindness is good. We have to carefully use it, and continue to guard ourselves, because I don't want to be abused by me showing kindness. I don't want my wife to, but yet that but I don't want to stop being kind. I do not. They say it's better to be uh, uh, carry a sword in a garden than it is to be a gardener in a war. You want to be dangerous, but not violent. You want to be capable of making an offense, a defense, whatever, but not be violent.
Mhm.
You
In
want
other
to
words,
speak softly and carry a big stick.
yeah, and if people see that, it puts everything in the right stead. So kind of think about that,
Mhm.
Ricky. Don't stop being kind,
Mm-mm.
but I keep your eyes wide open at the same time, and senses,
Yeah.
because not everybody's going to respond back in kind. They're not going to, but some are. That's the beautiful part. That really is the beautiful part. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to be very careful.
Mhm.
I mean, we've gone on these trips cross country, and different circumstances. You get out, you never know what's coming down. You don't stop at a strange place in the middle of the night, being older people, and where it's sketchy. It's just not very sensible because you never know what could come down. But we use our intelligence, and the same thing with with people.
And by and large, everyone was very kind. If they saw we were out of town, they came over and asked us if we needed help with anything. So in most cases, people are kind. They are nice. Sometimes they just need the opportunity. They need to be given the opportunity because maybe they themselves have
Yeah.
been hurt,
Yeah.
or someone has done something bad to them, and then they got that bad taste in their mouth, and they can't trust people.
Mhm.
So if you show yourself, trusting, open, they'll respond. But like Joe said, you have to be careful.
Trusting but wary.
Yeah.
You know?
Even the scripture in the Bible, it was talking about being cautious as serpents, but innocent as doves, or
Right.
however. So just because you're innocent does not mean you let down your guard. You can
Yeah.
be I don't even like the term nice, because there's that old saying, nice guys finish last.
Yeah.
But the only thing I could tell Ricky Bobby is this: my wife knows I can get firm. I've got a lot of Aries in me, the zodiac sign, evidently. But uh, we got pulled over one time by a cop, and I'm like you, Joe. I dislike abusive authority. I have no problem with authority, but I dislike abusive authority.
I know.
And I guess that certain cop was used to everybody shaking because he had a badge or
Yeah.
something, doing every
Yeah.
little thing he had. I knew I don't take drugs. He had nothing on me. He pulled us over, and they usually try to set you up always with, "Well, do you know why I pulled you over?" And that's like opening up a can. You never answer that question because they're looking for something. But anyhow, my wife was just shocked at how I handled it. And then he's like, "Well, do you mind if I look in your glove box?" And I was like, "Sure, I do mind. You're not going to look in it." I said, "Do you
No.
have any cause?" It shocked him. He kind of stepped back. I wasn't being a jerk about it, but I was being
No.
firm.
That's
And I
right.
let him know. I was like, "Well, can I look in your wallet?" And he's like, "What do you mean
Yeah.
by that?" I
Yeah.
said, "Your wallet's your private stuff. You more
Right.
than likely don't have nothing you want to hide in there, but there's stuff you just don't care to share with me." And I said, "Same way with my glove box there. There's nothing in there that's illegal, but there's nothing in there that you need to see." I told him like that. And
That's right.
and I do know the more you talk, the more you can get in trouble with these guys. So I just left it at that. I was like, and he had no reason to look in there. I saw him glance as much as he could in the car, but he looked at me and my wife, and he's like, "Okay," he's like, "Have a pleasant day." And I was like, "Oh, you too." But he
Yeah.
saw that he wasn't going to buffalo me. I was not intimidated, and you
Right.
got to you got to let them know, and they respect this. These guys deal with jerks,
Yeah.
druggies that will
Yeah.
pull a gun on you in a heartbeat. But I
That's
just
true.
let him know I have my boundaries. If he'd want to look in my glove box, I'd be like, "Go get your search warrant. I'll wait here till the judge signs off on it." And he's going
Right.
to be very upset when you find nothing. When you find nothing, I didn't have to get to that point, thank goodness. But here in
Yeah.
North Carolina, I knew what my laws was and everything else,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay. But that's the thing, is we're constantly being watched, either by our wives, our husbands, our kids. You need to set an example of what you're going to allow to be done to you,
That's
and
right.
and break away from all this being a slave to the system, sort of like what the guy was saying. You've got to make a firm stand. You don't have to be a jerk about it. You don't, but you got to let them know what I like that word that Joe used, boundaries. That's all it is you're setting boundaries. You're letting people know. You don't cross this boundary. I won't cross your boundary. It don't matter if it's property boundaries, personal boundaries. And you know, sometimes I say stuff that maybe somebody takes the wrong way, and it may be just a joke I'm trying to do. And then I realize there's certain people that can't handle
Yeah.
jokes,
Can't
or
take
and
jokes.
you just have to approach them a different way. And I'm
That's
learning
right.
even on that. But I try to joke around with everybody about different things, and some people do take it out of context or the wrong
Yeah.
way. And maybe my delivery was flawed. Maybe I didn't deliver it in a way to them. But anyhow, I try to watch out for people's feelings, but sometimes you can't accommodate everybody. We got to realize that you cannot
Absolutely.
accommodate everybody,
Absolutely.
and you can go as far as you can go, and that's it. You don't want You're willing to flex or bend, but you don't want to break yourself trying to accommodate other people. That's
That's it. That's great. Great. Well said. Well
Yeah,
said.
it sounds like you're living your truth, Wild.
That's it. And you know, it's a developing thing, isn't it? I mean, you didn't say, hey, here's how I'm going to behave. Bang, bang, I'm all set. That's it. We're done. I'm competent, capable, and totally set. It doesn't work that way. It's an ongoing process, ongoing process. And that's where it's that excellence comes in. Excellence is something that you work at. You know, you don't just say, hey, I'm excellent, man. I'm just, no, no, no. We strive for it. We strive for it. Sometimes we miss it, but we keep striving for it. And this is where, again, I'm going to say the society did not encourage us to seek our excellence. They encouraged us to seek their acceptance. And that we, in doing so, we avoided, oh my goodness, we avoided our truth, like how I could be competent and how I could be accountable to myself or my family. And and then to exercise the vision now as a result of that, as to now, how should I proceed forward? What should I go forward with? They never wanted us to do that.
Yeah.
No. This is why it's so beautiful that the people that are listening now, the ones that are coming out, you're developing your outside truth story, yours. I am impressed with that. See, that's where they say we seek excellence in each other. I seek inspiration from each other. Well, heck, I seek inspiration from John, but I also seek inspiration from you, Wild, and you, Ricky Bobby, and my wife, Fran, and from whoever else, because I need it. I need inspiration. And
I do too. We all need inspiration.
yeah,
Yeah. What a difference.
yeah, good difference, beautiful difference. And this is where what John was talking about. It says it's the end. It's the end of the time, basically, where those that didn't like us, whatever entity they are, who wanted to enslave us, it's the end. It's the end of that system. It really is. Because see, now we know the trick. We got caught in the snare now. I can smell it a mile away. I'm going to stay out of that snare, man. Just because there's some food in that snare doesn't mean I'm going to reach my hand in it. No, I lost part of my hand last time in that snare. I'm not going to go in that one again.
Yeah.
And so we're wise, and they know we're wise to that. They know that, and so many people are coming out, and well, they're banding together basically, and we're providing inspiration and support for each other. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he mentioned how people are waking up. I mean, we know people are waking up in the Watchtower, but people are waking up all over.
Mormons,
I mean, Mormons,
big time.
The political, government, things that are going on. People are waking up, whereas before, you could really, what's the expression, pull the wool over our eyes. They could show something on TV, and we'd say, "Oh, wow, that's great."
Oh, well, just as an example, I'm going to throw out an example. When we were in school, we're 72.
Yeah.
Um,
Is it fifth grade?
Yeah, I think it was fifth grade when the moon and
Landing
whatever the moon
operation.
came about, and it was so exciting. We watched it on television. Oh my goodness, nothing could have been more exciting than that. We were in school watching it on a big screen. Wow. My grandmother always had a saying, if I were watching television or something, and she'd look at me, look at it, look at me, and say, "Do you believe that? Do you believe that?" And her intent was to get me to question it, because maybe, just maybe, it's not true. but they just wanted me to believe it. And it's like, oh,
Yeah, I wasn't there. I can't prove it. You know, we can prove things that we can see or that we trust someone that has seen it. But beyond that, we have to be skeptical of things that we hear on TV, internet, radio,
well, we don't have to be.
whatever.
We
Well,
could
then
be
you can,
totally
okay,
trusting,
that's right,
right?
right.
Oh, I
Like
man,
we were
totally
with the
trusting.
Watchtower. We were totally
Sure,
trusting
totally trusting.
that that was the truth. They had the truth. You know, they were God's organization.
Well, here's a question. Well, why would they lie to us? Why would they lie? They're representing God. Why would they lie? Well, a person who might be a little more savvy about the situation might say, well, the name is what Zion's Watchtower. It's like Zion's Watchtower. So the question becomes, well, do you know what Zion is? No. Oh, well, now you're going to be at a disadvantage. Because anybody that knows what Zion is, Zion started out as a very political effort to gain territory. Very political, very controversial, very political. And so here, a quote unquote organization, religion, a Bible and tract publishing company aligned themselves with Zion, a political movement, to achieve a certain purpose. Well, what do you suppose that purpose was? To bring praise and glory to God? Oh, well, of course, you say. You say, oh, of course. Well, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't designed to bring glory and praise to the Creator. Maybe, just maybe, it was designed to achieve a political purpose. And for that, it would need money, like lots of it. So, we would be very handy supporting and promoting that organization to gain lots of money for that purpose, to promote Zion. Why did they call themselves Zion? Well, they stopped after a certain while because they started to realize that they was giving themselves away. But in the meantime, they realized, no, we can keep fooling them. We know how to fool people. They're dumb. People aren't dumb. They don't know any better. They're not well read. They won't even check. We'll just bowl them over with impressive offers, and we'll, just like a car salesman, a used car salesman, just keep talking and don't let them even think. I like people. I love people.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, there are those that would try to dominate us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a reality,
Mm-hmm.
like the Bible says.
Yeah.
All the time that man has dominated man to his injury.
I don't know if anyone has read the book New Boy, and it's Life and Death at the World Headquarters of the Jehovah's Witnesses by Keith Casarona. He wrote this. He was at Bethel in the 70s, and what you just said made me think of what I read last night. He was giving his experience at Bethel, and Bethel, there's a lot of bad things that happen at Bethel, and the ones that are in the high positions, they protect each other, because what had happened, there was a whole bunch of brothers that saw a lot of bad things happening, and the president at the time was Noor, and he said, if you notice anything bad, come to me. Feel free to come to me. We want to know, this is the house of God, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think there were about 100 different brothers that had issues with the overseers. The overseers of the different departments, they were really bad. They covered up a lot of things. And so at this one point, but beyond that, but backing up, this Keith Casarona, he's the author.
Incidentally, we spoke with him.
Yeah, we spoke with him on the phone.
He lives in Arizona.
Yeah, and he sent us this book. Maybe we can have him on the show sometime. But anyway, his really best friend, and I think they work together in the laundry. But just this one little part, he says, I knew some, oh, okay, Washington. I knew some Bethel overseers thought that
Hello?
way, but to say it out loud, the Dwelling Together in Unity book said that Bethel overseers were the supreme authority in all matters when it came to our Bethel service. I sold my soul to the company store that day and lied. And this is what happened. His overseer said, his friend Gary, who was a few feet away, he says, Gary has a hard time respecting authority and following the rules here at Bethel. Gary was his best friend. If he doesn't change and obey me in every way, he will die at Armageddon. You do believe that, don't you, Brother Casarona? So Keith said, yes, sir, of course. You must report to me anything Gary says or does that is against society policy. Yes, sir. I hated Ken Dowling. That was his overseer. I hated Ken Dowling after that. I hated myself after that, too. I began to question myself. I began to question the things they asked us to do. How far was I willing to go? Was I willing to turn in my own friend just so I could look better in their eyes? Was Gary really going to die at Armageddon because of his attitude? Gary was a hard worker and a good friend. I was very confused. So I just thought that part was so interesting because here, you got this authority over you, and they're asking you to do something that you really don't want to do. And like he said, he hated himself after that. And we've been in that situation. All of us have been in that situation where we've done something we know we shouldn't have done, or said something, or went against our own conscience, and it just changes the way we feel. So it just reinforced in me, no matter how difficult the situation, it's easy to lie because we want to save face, we want to save ourselves, we want to save ourselves from looking bad. But it's so much better to tell the truth, to live the truth. So that's why the truth is in us, and we just want to live the truth the best we can. That struck me.
Yeah. Now, he went to Casarona. What was his
Yes,
first name again?
Keith.
Keith. Now Keith went there to
Oh,
this because
House of God.
he believed that was the house of God.
Yeah, and it was such a privilege to go.
He was told that. He must have, I assume he believed it to the extent that he was willing to do that. But then things changed. His awareness, his vision increased, and he got to see the truth. And he got to see the truth about what that place really was. So now the question becomes, do I go along with it? Oh, in my heart I say, no, I don't go along with this. But on the outside, you're going to go along with it because you realize, oh my goodness, I'm in between a rock and a hard place. Well, so he compromised, right?
Yeah.
As we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And we compromise and say, oh, I'll compromise. So at that point, he lays in bed at night, as we all do, and say, man, I really don't believe in what's going on here. I really don't go along with what I'm doing and my involvement here. I can't agree to this anymore. So, what do? Well, I'll just keep faking it. I know how to play the game. I'll fake it. Well, so at that point, you're not living your truth. Your truth is this stuff, this stinks, it's untruthful, it's bad. I want out. On the other hand, nah, I can fake it. I can fake it. Not living your truth. And unfortunately, so many of us have been in that situation with that organization, to the extent now where they've given people a name called PMOs. They're physically in, but they're mentally, they made that turn and realized, oh no, man, maybe I came into this organization, but my mind, it's so out. I'm so out. But yet I'm still in. It's like, whoa, we got a conflict going on here. Well, how do you resolve that? How do I resolve that? You know, so Joe, do you really think that the governing body is God's anointed channel? Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I don't. I really don't. Well, so truth be told, no, I don't. Well, but if I'm living like it is, I am not living truth, my truth, my truth.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm living the truth, which is in fact a lie. So the question becomes, whose truth do you live? Yours or someone else's?
Mhm.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
It literally is up to each one of us. Not for me to say. It's for me to say about my truth. You to say about your truth. And we're
Yeah.
we're honored to be in the company of others who seek to live truth in spite of the fact that there's, there are consequences. There are consequences. We know there's consequences.
Mhm. Yeah, I really feel for PMOs because PMOs are trying to,
Yeah.
keep their family or keep their job, or they have a situation maybe they're where they live that it's owned by an elder,
Or
so
maybe their boss is an elder.
their boss is an elder, so they would lose everything if they told the truth about how they really feel. So I really feel for PMOs, and they're fading. They're trying to fade. They're doing it in a way where they don't disrupt too many things. But Joe reminded me just what he was saying. We had been PMO. We were trying to be PMO. It was really hard because our kids can read us like a book.
Because we were always straightforward with them.
Right. And our daughter was in Pioneer School, and she called us during Pioneer School, and she said, I just have one question. Do you believe that the governing body is God's spirit anointed on the earth? And right away, both of us said, no. Now, we could have said, oh, yes, we do, just so we could keep the conversation going with her. And we knew the result. We knew. So the next breath, she said, well, I won't be able to, communicate with you. Since you feel that way, I have to cut off my communication with you. And she did. We hadn't heard from her for like 2 years until she came for Joe's mother when Joe's mom passed away. And then we did see her, and she came up to us and said the typical,
Yeah.
I'm
It was
sorry.
All, it was all
I'm
cold.
sorry.
And,
And that's it.
That's it.
That was it. I'm sorry and a hug, and then they moved on. So they really are being true. They're living their truth.
Apparently.
They
Now,
we don't know.
no, but see, what
what
if they're trying to protect their relations? Because see, they were born in. It's not like they had a culture before that. That
we
is
did.
their culture. We did.
Joe and I did.
We grew up with a culture. 33 years of outside. They didn't. So they stand to lose, well, all the friends that they've ever really known. So is it possible that they might pretend, even though they realize that it's not quote unquote the truth? Yeah, they might very well play the game. And so there are many that might be in there that are doing that. The question becomes, and this is for every one of us, what do you value more? It's a question of values clarification. Do I value this more, or do I value that? It's going to be one or the other. It won't be both. And you're going to give who you are determines by the decision that you make, the decision that I make. The decision that I make is me, is who I am. can't say, well, I decided left, but I'm really right. Or I've decided up, but I'm really down. No, you're really dishonest. Um,
Hey,
so
friend,
Yes, wild.
I was just thinking when you were saying that, wouldn't it have been nice? I wonder how she would have responded if you'd had that little clip from the arc of Jeffrey Jackson when she
I
asked you
know.
that. Yeah, and said, "Well, let's let one of the governing body answer that question." He said
yeah,
out of his own mouth, it would be presumptuous for us to
I
say
you
know.
we're
can't
only.
trust. No, no, they'd say you can't trust what you see on
Oh,
television.
yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
They have an answer for
Oh yeah.
everything, unfortunately. But I hear what you're
It's a
saying.
bias. There's a confirmation bias that goes on there.
Yeah.
It's like I can't believe anything that doesn't support what I believe in.
Oh,
Uh,
I can totally understand. I was the same way. I was a hard nut to crack when I was younger. I mean, if they would have told me not to speak to somebody because it's
Really?
disfellowship, I lived it to the hilt. I wouldn't speak to them. I wouldn't even acknowledge them in the store. I feel bad
yeah.
for that now. But that's why I tell people if they can break somebody like me, get the outer shell off to where I can see behind, there's hope for anybody out there in the
Well, that's
organization
what
for them to come out because I was a true blue believer, 100%. It wasn't none of this like 95%. But as I said, what got me to question anything was when they told me that there was a secret elders book. My
Mm,
wife's problem was the love was not there as it once was in the congregation. But
yeah.
boy, the doctrine's what got me. And then when I found out about that secret book, I even brought it up to the PO. I was like, "So there's a secret elders book, huh?" And he didn't deny it. And I had quite a few elders visits at my house after that, and all of them, when I asked them about it, they admitted to it. But I said, so no matter what happens, your wife could be more spiritual than you, but just because you were born with a certain genitalia that she hasn't, she has no access to that book. Is that what you're telling me? And they're like, well, there's got to be, a structure to the organization, and they said every business out there has got stuff that they share internally that ain't available to other people. And I said, right. But you just now answered my other question. So this is ran like a business instead of a true religion, or
Good
I said
answer.
that answered my very next question about is this a religion or a business? And I said I think it sounded more like a legalistic business. And I'm really surprised they didn't haul me in front of another judicial committee. But they've been, the last visit I had was 2 years ago to Memorial, and the current Kobe of the congregation invited me, and I told him I have no hard feelings towards y'all, but I let him know I will not be going. And that was what he said out of his own mouth. He's like, well, at least you was man enough to acknowledge it that you won't be there instead of beating around the bush. And I said, oh yeah, I said I ain't going to beat around the bush. I won't be there.
Wow.
And
Good for
I
you.
even questioned him. I said, show me one scripture in the Bible where it says to go and be a respectful observer. I said, there's not one in there. Every scripture I can quote right now says, as often as you eat this loaf and drink this cup, you keep proclaiming the day of the Lord to you, uh, his presence. But I said, every one of them that y'all quote from the platform is all talking about partaking. Not one of them is about observing. And
Yeah.
and to this day, they've never showed me one. I was like, "Show me that." And then once I learned about the black mass, it was over for me. Then I even told him
Yeah.
about that. I said, "Look up black mass, and you'll understand why I cannot, in good conscience, go to a memorial ever again." And
Yeah.
like I say, if nothing else, I planted a seed. But I
Oh,
was
it's
for
good.
sure they was going to call me
Oh
into a
man.
judicial committee, but they haven't yet. It still
No.
might be on their table, but they're leaving me
No.
alone for now.
That's good. That's
Well, let me
wonderful.
ask you this: if they did call you, would you go? Wow.
Absolutely. I I know most people wouldn't, but I went to my own disfellowship, and when they announced it years ago, I was a young kid, got in trouble. I only got disfellowship one time, but like I said, I was a true believer. I was one of them stupid ones that go tell on themselves. I
Yeah.
went and admitted fault. It didn't do me much good, but I was like, well, I'll take care of the problem in this system of things, where I ain't got to worry about the next system of things. So I was wanting to, clear up my past. With Jehovah, as they say, let him make your past straight. And they always quote them scriptures to you, though your sins may be like scarlet, they'll make, repent can make them white as snow, or that would Jehovah forgive me. So I went through all that back when I was disfellowship. So I knew how it was going to go, but I would absolutely go if they call me because I'm looking for it to it now, because back then I believed everything. Now I don't believe none of it. I would like to pick their brains, and I would
Yeah.
let them know stuff right in my judicial committee now. And
Yeah.
the thing is, I'm one of them people that I'll quit a job long before they fire me. So if I go to
Okay.
that judicial committee, I'll already have my paperwork in hand.
Yeah.
But I
And,
want to hear what they got to say before then.
and
So,
they know that too.
oh, that they know who they can bully. I will say that I've
True.
found that out. And
Well,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
I'd like to touch on something real quick that I think it was Ricky Bobby brought up earlier about, how sometimes the bad boys is what the girls go after and stuff. I understand what he's dealing with, and other people in general in this world. That's something else that's going on right now to try to keep us so um, not focused on what we need to. They've got the men turning against the women in today's world, women against the men I'm just talking about dating. And it ain't necessarily the bad boy that gets the girl, but I will tell you this, I can talk from experience. I've been married almost 36 years. Got a anniversary coming up soon. But the thing is, nice guys will finish last in a lot of ways. You don't have to be the bad boy though, but what most women respect, and I'll say this because I had 4 older sisters and I watched how they treated other guys and everything, but they respect somebody that's confident. And here's what confidence does. If you go in anywhere and you ask a lady, a girl, however you want, a woman, if you ask her for out on a date, if she refuses you, confidence don't make you think she's going to agree and say, "Oh yeah, I'll go out on a date on you." Confidence is knowing that you're going to be okay if she declines, that you're going to go to
Right.
the next one because there will be another one down the road.
Mm.
That's what confidence is. And you look at it like this, well, that's her loss. Don't never think it's your loss, because you know what you're bringing to the table. If you're a good guy, to me, I try to tell people, be a good guy, not a nice guy. Nice guys will
Mhm.
get run over. Be a good
Right.
guy. There,
Yeah.
there is a difference. And like I say, I can definitely tell you from experience, having 4 older sisters. I watched them when they talk about watchmen. I watched them like a hawk. I see what guys they were attracted to, which ones they tried to run over. And sad to say, I had one sister that really took advantage of a guy, and I felt so bad for him, and he was too nice. If I could put it in a nutshell, he was too nice. He was one of
Mm.
them that, she could do no wrong. And here's the thing: if you put anybody, it don't have to be a girl. If you're a girl and you put a guy on a pedestal, anytime you put somebody on a pedestal, they have no choice but to look down at you because you've put them up there.
Yeah.
Leave it an even playing field. And um, I hate dealing with titles and stuff like that. But you know how they talk about alpha males, beta males.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would encourage any guy out there, and you can make yourself into these, but an alpha male kind of wants to be leader of the pack, all that. But something that's even better than both of them, you really don't want to be a beta male, but something that's better than both of them is research Sigma male, Sigma. Be a Sigma male. You're totally confident. You're happy to be by yourself or in a crowd. It don't matter, but you are content. Your energy is yours. You can share it with somebody, or you can keep it to yourself and still feel fulfilled. And that's the one thing I like about Sigmas. And if you're a girl or a guy, look that up and you'll understand the difference between an alpha and a sigma. But generally, people will always refer on the alpha, but I'm telling you, there's a better word out there, and it would be sigma. But anyhow, as I say, I just hate what the world is doing to us. They're turning guys against girls, girls against guys, and it's just to keep their agenda going. Is all this is boiling down to.
Well, see what you're talking about, while shows the truth in what one of the truths that the Bible says about my people will suffer for lack of knowledge. So what you're explaining the knowledge of our options, our alternatives that we can have. And if we don't know about it, well, we can't do it. And this is where, you know, fathers and mothers need to teach their children this knowledge, not this lame watchtower knowledge. This knowledge of life and reality, and how to be, as you said, good, and care for people and not be abused by people. It's knowledge. It really is knowledge.
Mhm.
And fortunately, people are catching up now.
Mhm.
People are catching up, and they know it. And the watchtower knows it. They're running scared. They really don't know what to do. They truly don't know what to do. They've got ideas. They're working on something, but they're going to lose their people. The people don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, back in our day when we were going out in field service, we were expected to be able to defend the good news according to the scriptures, right? Being able to defend if anyone had a question. Now they don't want their publishers to carry on conversation. They want them to always direct people to jw.org, or they want a little cart there. They back in our day, we had to knock on them doors. I mean, street after street after street, and it don't matter what objection they brought up, try to answer
Yeah.
it to the best of our ability. And if
Yeah.
we didn't know the answer, what would we tell them? Well, I'll be glad to research that and look it up and try to come back and discuss it with you in a future time.
Yeah.
But they don't even want to do that now. They just want to point you to the website.
I know. I know. They're lost. They're lost. They really are. And that's why so many people are coming out. You know, so many friends, literal friends, are coming out. You know, this is interesting. One of the things that we've heard is that the society is going to refer to the people that are in as members. They're not members. They're adherents. So no one's going to be a member of Jehovah's Witnesses. Only adherents. And the reason for that is for a legal issue. Members have legal rights, but adherents don't have legal rights. So um, they're becoming more and more predatory and sharp. They'll get their slaves. The ones that remain in will continue to be Watchtower slaves. The ones that are coming out are seeking their freedom. And there will be gains and there will be losses. But see, that determines how much you value what you value the most, whether or not you value personal freedom or whether or not there's something else that you value more. It's a very personal thing, and that is literally your truth, yours. No one can take that away from you. No one can live it for you. And if you value it, you will seek that. And people are. Everything's getting rearranged. People are taking their stands one way or the other. And the ones that are coming out have a very nice sharing with each other. We appreciate that.
Thank you for coming on, Wild.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
thanks for having me. Yeah,
yeah,
it's been really nice.
yeah, thank you. Tomorrow night, our theme is religious deceptions and more paradise parodies. So we got to keep those songs coming.
Got to keep those good vibrations.
That's
There you
right.
go.
That's right.
Anything else?
I think, I hope we've all thought a little more completely and deeply about things. It has to do with our truth, the one that each one of us lives by. Because we like people who live their truth.
Mm-hmm.
They like us and we like them.
Yep. So keep living your truth.
Yeah, Vern always says keep living your life with love.
Love.
I'm going to throw in there, and with your truth.
That's right.
Because that's what others are looking for. See, we become models of that to each other.
Hey, Joe, before you log off, can I ask you something?
No,
Are you familiar with that series years ago that used to come on TV? It was called Heroes. The reason
uh,
the reason I
vaguely.
ask is there was a guy on there. He took his name from a watch. Do you? Or I'm sure that doing the work you do, you're familiar with the Sylar watch, Sylar, Sylar.
You know, I don't. I think that was a time when we were not watching I don't remember that.
There was a
Yeah,
time we
so-
didn't have TV. We didn't
No.
watch TV when the kids were younger.
And you're saying the watch was Sylar, Sylar?
Yes, and the guy took his name from that particular watch. I just did a Google search on it just to look at the watch. It's Siler watch, and you know there's always the Rolex and stuff like that. But
Yeah, yeah.
he was looking for a name to go by because
Gotcha.
you know I don't want to give too much away. But he did the work you're doing, and he had such a keen ear. He could walk into a house, and if he heard their grandfather clock, he would listen to the pendulum swinging back and forth, and he could detect how slow it was.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he would say that clock loses 3 seconds every week, and he would quickly tabulate how much time it lost in a year. But I just was curious if you had ever watched it because
No, it'd
you
be
would
too.
relate to so much of what he
Yeah,
does on there.
I'm gonna look him up. That's all right. See now,
Oh,
that's an example. That's an example of a human with competence. He's
there you
got
go.
and you know, that's impressive. But and everybody's got something like that they can be competent with.
Yeah, that was his unique ability is he could take anything apart and figure out how it works, and that's why he was such a good watch. Well, there's a term they use it, but not just watch make repair watch.
Orologist, orologist.
There you
H O
see now
R.
you'll recognize all them words he uses on that show. Uh,
I'll,
I don't,
I'll,
but you would.
I got to admit, I never heard anything about this. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, if you do a Google on Sylar Sylar, you'll see him. He's the first
Yeah.
thing that comes up. Usually, the guy that played that part. He's also the same actor that played in Star Trek as the new Spock.
Wow.
I don't know if
Okay.
you've seen any of the latest Star Trek.
No,
The,
no,
the guy
we're
that played as
still.
Mr. Spock in there,
Ah,
he did an awesome job of it.
Well, maybe we saw it,
I
but we
don't
don't
recall. I'm going to
regularly.
check. See now,
Hello,
I'm going to check.
Tad. Tad's
Thank you.
from
Thank you,
Japan. Hi, Tad.
Sylar.
Hi, Joe and Frank. Can you hear me?
Oh, we
Yes, we
can.
can.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Thank
yeah.
you.
I always appreciated your kindness. I probably won't be able to respond to the conversation right away. So I just give you one piece of information from Japan. I have to go to bed soon. Uh, this has nothing to do with the show so far. We know that the New World Translation is a total fraud, but when translating into Japanese, for example, it is translated from English to Japanese, which means it is a double translation. So the Japanese branch translates the Holy Spirit as power of holy. The New World
Wow.
Translation in English translates it as Holy Spirit.
Holy
It
Spirit.
doesn't make any sense. Thank you, and thank you, and bye, goodbye, good night.
Oh,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Tad.
Appreciate that, Ted.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Well, so thankful for everybody listening, coming on, and check out John Moore. He always comes on.
His channel is called
Inspired.
Inspired. One
And
word.
there's some many good other ones who are very competent at presenting things that we can benefit from. We look for that.
Hmm.
So, thank you all.
Thank you, Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. You'll
Have
have
a
to let
good
me
rest.
know what you think about that, Joe and Fran.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
heroes.
Sylar
Yeah,
Heroes.
it's very addictive, and it deals with what I don't want to give too much away, but something that will draw you in is the energy that we've been talking about. How everybody shares a certain energy, a frequency.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll get engrossed in this show, and I don't want to say no more than that, but you will get engrossed if you ever
Yeah.
start watching it.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
All right, I'll tell everybody bye, and I'll let
Bye.
you.
Thanks,
end it.
man.
And
Love you.
Tall
Love
Cool
you.
Woman Tall Cool Woman just stopped in to say hello from Arkansas. I'm not in a Wi-Fi area. I'll be watching the video show later. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vern. Thank you, Shauna.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Yes.
We love you.
Happy afternoon.